Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In previous video, I have shown you how to backend code for this add user control. Here you can see this, when I write something and I want to reset, we can reset. In the same way we can check for the username and everything is working. We can even sign up for the user and everything is working fine. So if you have not watched my previous video, then just go to description, there I put the link for my previous video, or you can simply do one thing, just click on the suggestion on the right side of the screen. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to backend code for this one, that is a dashboard, and how to show the number over here. And actually one more thing, I'm going to show you how to actually connect this sign in page with the dashboard, okay, with the actually database. So let's start with that. So I'm going to stop this project for now, and first thing, let me just close all of these stuff because we don't need these for now. Okay, so this is our project on which we are working. So let me move back to the login form. So here we are. So first thing where we have to actually code is on the sign in button. So just double click on this and this will move back over here. Okay, so let me comment these lines. Okay, and let me make some space. Before writing anything inside this sign in click, first thing what I have to do is I have to actually add one stuff over here. So we have to create an object of the function class which we have created in the previous video. So I'm going to create an object for that. Function fn is equal to new function, and here next thing I have to write is I need one query, so string query. Now we have the two stuff which we needed. After this, move back to the sign in part. Here first what I want is, suppose you have given this software to anyone, and if there is no user or no user exists in our database, then that user cannot log in. In that case, we need to provide some information to that user. You just sign in and just you have to write like this. First I have to write the query, select star from the table name. So our table name is users. In the previous video I have shown you this, so if you have not watched, then please watch that first, or after I continue with this. Okay, after this you have to write data set ds is equal to fn.getData. We have to fire this query into the database. Suppose what actually is going on over here. So first thing, I have selected star from user. It means that I am selecting all the users from the table, and my table name is users. Okay, so if that table is empty, it means that no user exists, neither the administrator nor the pharmacist. In that case, I want user to log in with the user ID root, and the password is also root. Okay, so let's start with that. If this ds is empty, it means that no user is there. So if ds.tables 0.rows.count is equal to 0, it means that no user exists. In that case, if txt username.text is equal to nothing but root, and txt password.text is equal to root, then what we want to do is we want to move to the administrator part. So for administrator, our administrator form name is nothing but administrator. So administrator admin is equal to new administrator, like this, and admin dot show. And after this, what I want is I want to hide this form, so this dot hide. Okay, so here it goes. Suppose if this ds is empty, then what is going to happen is there will be no data, and in that case, here you can see this, if this ds is equal to ds.tables0.rows.count is equal to 0, it means that if the ds contains 0 data, then we have to check that if txt username root is equal to root, and txt password dot text is equal to root. Then we move to the administrator form, and there you can register new user. Okay, after this, in the else condition, what I have to do is we have to do the actual matching of the code if some user exists. It means that if ds contains some data, then we need to code whatever we want inside this one. So here what I want is I want to match the values from the text box with the database. So first I have to write the query. So let me maximize this one, the full screen. So query is equal to select star from users where username is equal to txt username dot text and pass username. This is the column name and my database, and pass is also the column name, and this is a table name. Okay, so pass is equal to single quotes, double, plus plus, double quotes and single quotes, and here we have to mention txt password dot text like this. After this we have to write ds is equal to function dot get data. We have to call that. So we have to pass the query, and here you can see this, it's showing an error. You must have observed that we are using this ds again and again. That's why what we have to do is, let me just cut this part and just mention ds over here, and I'm going to initialize this ds over here like this, so that we are going to actually use the single data set object multiple times. Here you can see this. You have to assign the value again and again, you can use it again. Okay, so now here, if this user and ID and password matches with the database, then this ds will have some value. So here we have to again check that stuff. So if ds.tables 0.rows.count is equal to, it's not equal to 0, it means that this one is valid. In that case, first what I want to do is I want to extract the role, the user role from that data set. Okay, so string role is equal to ds.tables 0.rows 0 column 1 dot to string. Okay, let me explain you what exactly is going on. From the ds stores the data in the form of tables, and we have only one table, and in the computer science you know the values start from 0th, and from the rows it means that 0th rows and 1th column, and convert that value to string. Okay, after this we have to check something like if role is equal to nothing but administrator administrator, then what we want to do is we want to move to a particular admin form. Administrator admin is equal to new administrator and admin dot show and this dot hide. We have to check other, like else if role is equal to pharmacist, then what we want to do is we want to move to the new form. So let me add one form for now so that we can code for that. So click on form. I'm going to add new form. So I'm going to name this one pharmacist. Click on enter. Okay, so new form is added. We don't need it now. I'm going to just check it for that. So I'm going to add So when this role matches to pharmacist, then I want to move to that pharmacist. So pharmacist pharm is equal to new pharmacist pharma dot show this dot hide. Okay, so here let me explain you what exactly I did. So before actually showing, let me just show you that what this DS contains when this query is fired, and why I am extracting this role from the 0th and 1st. Okay, so let me explain you everything. So I'm going to add a breakpoint over here so that every task till here is done. So let me start with this. So I've started the project, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to write btechdays and btechdays. When I click on sign in, we move back over here, and when I hover over this, here you can see this is administrator, and when you hover over this, let me just show you, when you click on this one, and here you can see this in the table we have mentioned ID in the first, second the user role. So this one is 0th row and 1st column, and here you can see this from the DS, that is data set, this one, and it stores the data in the form of tables. So it's table 0th and rows, 0th rows and 0th column is ID and 1st column is user role. So it's extracting 1st column, that is administrator, and converting that into a string and storing that into the variable that is nothing but role. So when I continue this, it will actually open my administrator module. When I log out, and now I'm going to actually sign in with the administrator part. So Kumar, and when I sign in, okay, so let me remove this breakpoint and continue. And here you can see this, we move to the pharmacist. So this one is working fine. If you want another user like customer or anything, so you can add actually else if, and you can match it like this one, role is equal to customer, and you can design other stuff and you can code inside this one. So we don't need this for now, so let me just delete this. I hope you understand this part, and if you are worried about that, I haven't shown you this because we already that our data set, the table actually contains some data. Okay, so that's why whenever I'm going to fetch this is going to always return some data. It will, this DS will always fill with data. That's why it's never going to enter into this code of block. It's always going to enter inside this one. So if I write like this, not equals, it means that now it will enter inside this one. So let me just show you. Now I'm going to enter root, then it was going to enter inside this one, and this will move us to the administrator part. So you can see this root. I've just changed that to show you that this will work perfectly fine. So when I click on sign in, here you can see this will move to the dashboard. So this one is working nice. So let me remove this one. Okay, so this code will work only when our users table is empty. It means that for the first time when you install this software, you can log in with root, and after you make it successful, if you added successfully a new user, then you have to enter with that username and password. Okay, so this one, the task for login part is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to code for the dashboard. So let me move back to the dashboard. So here we go in the dashboard. So here first thing what we have to do is we have to actually change the name of this button. Let me maximize this and change this button name. So change this button name to PTN sync, hit enter, and let me change the label, this label name to, let me just change this one, design name, and change this one to label admin or admin label, and this one to pharma label. hit enter. Now next thing what we have to do is we have to actually code on this form load event. So just double click on the empty space and this will generate a form load event. And before coding inside this one, first thing what I have to do is I have to actually make a function object. Function fn is equal to new function like this, and string query. We need one variable and we need one data set object too. So data set ds like this. And after this what I have to do is I have to actually show the number of actual users in our database inside this label into this label. So what we have to do is we have to just, before writing anything, let me just create one method over here. So I'm going to write this one private and it's a void type and set label. I'm going to name this one, and this is going to actually need two arguments. One is data set ds and another is label name. So label lbl like this. And let me show you what exactly this one is going to do. If ds.tables 0 dot rows dot count is not equal to 0, then what we have to do is we have to set that label. So label name is also being passed over here, so I'm going to set this label. We don't know for now which label exactly this is. So lbl dot text is equal to ds dot tables 0 dot rows 0 and column 0 dot to string. In the else condition, what I want is I want to just set that label lbl dot text to nothing but 0. If now I run this code and call this method over here, then this will definitely going to set the label to 0. Okay, so I will explain you what exactly this method is. Not to worry, if you understand this then that's perfectly fine, but let me explain this one. In this method or in this load event, first thing what we have to do is we have to write the query. So query is equal to, for administrator I have to write select count. This is a method. This is a method in SQL. You can use this to count any number of users inside the database. So count, in this you have to pass the column name which one you want to count. So user role from table. Users is the table where user role is equal to administrator. Administrator. It means that it will actually count the number of users with the user role where user role is administrator. Okay, so next thing what we have to do is we have to store that. We have to fire this onto the database. Function dot get data, and we have to pass this query like this. After this is going to return some number, the values inside this one. So what we have to do is we have to set that value to the label. So let me just do that. We have to call the method set label, and inside this one we have to pass data set object, and the second thing is nothing but label name. So our label name is admin label. So I hope you understand what exactly I have did over here. Let me start this and let me show you. Let me explain, and after that I will show you. So first thing what I have did is I have written a query. This query is going to count the number of users where user role is nothing but administrator is mentioned inside this one. Suppose we have a table of 10 rows over there and 5 users are administrator, then this query is going to return 5, number 5 only, the count of that user. So this data set will contain 0, or this data set will contain 5 in that case if we have 5 users in our database, and that the data filled data set is being passed when we call this method and the label name over here. So now the value inside this one is 5 is now here, and here first thing what I have checked is if ts.table0.rows.count is not equal to 0, it means that if this ts is not null, if this one is have 5, then this one is not null, then this will enter inside this one, and this is the label name. So label name we have passed is admin label. So here admin label is set. Admin label dot text is equal to, from this data set we have to extract the data set tables 0, it contains the data in the form of tables, and from that table rows 0th row and 0th column, because we have only one value, that is a number, and convert that to string and show into that label. And in the else condition, if this one is empty, so it will never enter the if condition, it goes to the else condition, and in the empty case we have to set 0 to that label. So let me start this and let's check if this works or not. So I have started the project, and this time what we have to do is we have to actually log in with valid username and password. So valid username is btechdays and btechdays. Just sign in, and here you can see this total number of admin is 2 over here, and we haven't coded for this one, so this one is not showing for now, and we haven't coded for this one. Okay, so log out and let me close this. And next thing what we have to do is we have to code for pharmacist. So select count user role from users where user role is equal to pharmacist, like this. ds.function ds is equal to fn.get data, and inside this one we have to pass the query, and after this we have to call the method set label, and we have to pass ds comma pharma label, like this. And when you call this, our task is done. Now start this and let's check if this works or not. So I've started the project. I'm going to log in. Suppose I enter something wrong, so it's going to show. Okay, so we have missed the else part. Okay, so I'm going to add that. Sign in, and here you can see this, we have 2 pharmacist user as well. Let me just show you. Okay, sorry, we don't have coded for this users, otherwise I've shown you right now. So let me move back to the database, and here you can see this 2 pharmacist user and 2 administrator user is visible over here. That's why it's showing 2 for each of the stuff. Here you can see this 2 and 2 over here. Okay, so let me log out and let me close this. So the coding for this dashboard part is done, but we missed one thing, that is nothing but in the form. So if this one is matched, and in the else condition we have to show some message that else. Let me show some message box dot show wrong username or password, and I'm going to name this message box error, message box button, and needs one button, so okay, and it needs to have some icon, message box dot error, like this. So whenever user enter wrong username and password, then this ds will empty, and in that case I want to show this message. So let's start and check if this one is working or not. Let me start this, and I'm going to enter something wrong, and when I click on this, wrong username or password. So this one is working fine. So let me log in and sign in. And after this, here you can see this, we have to code for this one, the last thing. So when this one will work exactly, suppose if you added a new user over here, so I'm going to, let me just add new user, administrator, and something, let me, Rohit, mobile number, email ID, rohit@gmail.com, and username is Rohit, password is also Rohit, and sign up. And when you click on OK, and when you move to dashboard, here you can see this, now we have 3 admin user in the database, but here you can see this one is not updated. When I click on this, nothing happens because we haven't coded for this one. So let me show you in the database if these 3 are visible over here or not. Here you can see this, we have 1, 2 and 3 pharmacist administrator user, but it's still not visible. So what we have to do is we have to do just a small change, nothing but, let me just close this and move to this one, the dashboard part, move to the top, just select this and just double click on this. This will generate a btn sync click event, and here what you have to do is you have to just call this one user reload, and here you have to pass the object, that is this object, and event is null. So just we have to call this uc underscore dashboard load, and in this you have to just pass this, and the second argument is null. When you do this, whenever we click on that button, these code are re-executed. It means that the label are reset. Okay, so let's start this and let's check that again. So I will start the project. And Rohit I'm going to log in with that. Just sign in, and with Rohit I can actually log in. So here you can see this, we have 3. So now I'm going to add one more user, pharmacist, and J @gmail.com, JJ, sign in, successful. Move to dashboard. Here you can see this, we have 3, and when I click on this one is updated to 4. Okay, so here you can see this, now everything is functional as I have shown you in the overview video. So that's it for this video, guys. In the next video I'm going to show you how to design this view user and how to backend code for this. So stay tuned, subscribe and share it with your friends, and to purchase source code contact me on Instagram. Thanks for watching.